Well, our top story tonight, Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee has refused to take the blame for the controversial 2G note, which has been critical of P. Chidambaram's role. These are just pictures at the airport in Delhi, where Mr. Mukherjee has just arrived from Kolkata. We are expecting that he will have a meeting possibly tonight or tomorrow with the Prime Minister. Now, in a letter to the PM and to Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Mukherjee has said that the 2G note was a background note which had inputs from several ministries, including from officials in the Prime Minister's office. My colleague Sunil Prabhu now joins us with more on that big political story. Sunil, in many ways, hasn't this intensified or worsened this rift between these two senior ministers? The fact that Pranab Mukherjee says it's not just me who had this to say about Mr. Chidambaram's role at that time, but everybody said so.
Well, Nidhi, we have to understand the context and why this note was first prepared. There was a need for a comprehensive background paper, and the reason for that was that there were statements that were emanating in the media that the Home Minister, the present Home Minister and then Finance Minister had advocated auctioning of the allocation of 2G spectrum. Then, of course, there was that Prime Minister's statement that was made on the 25th of February in Parliament, where he said that the two ministries had agreed in the context, what we have been told by the Prime Minister's office and the Cabinet Secretariat, in the context that they had to depose before the JPC and the PAC, and that the government was one in going ahead in the way and the process of going about that entire situation. It was decided that they would need to have a comprehensive note. And that's why the Cabinet Secretary convened a meeting on the 15th and 16th of March, where officials, as you rightly said, from the Department of Telecom, from Law and Justice, from the Economic Affairs, from the Prime Minister's office, were all present. And then the Finance Ministry, which is trying to make a very clear distinction that they are not the authors, they sent a 14-para note to the Cabinet Secretariat, chronologically just giving the sequence of events. The Cabinet Secretary, then with inputs from the Prime Minister's office, put in its own inputs and added 14 more paras with those inferences that we are talking about, which has angered the Home Minister. And then, of course, the entire context of going ahead and giving it out as a right to information.
Now, Sunil,
it's $1 million question.
What happens next, though? We've just seen that Mr. Mukherjee's come back to the capital. Is he likely now to have a meeting with the Prime Minister tonight or tomorrow? And is there some kind of statement then expected from either one or both of these two ministers tomorrow to settle this once and for all?
Well, Nidhi, we are told that he's likely to meet the Prime Minister. It also depends on the Prime Minister's schedule, as we are well aware that he's expected to visit the earthquake-affected areas of Sikkim tomorrow morning. So whether there will be a possibility late tonight or early tomorrow or after he returns back from Sikkim. But clearly a meeting is on the cards. And of course, as the Prime Minister and Mr. Pranab Mukherjee have indicated, they would like to clarify and ensure that this entire matter is settled and put to rest. But as I've been explaining to you, Pranab Mukherjee clearly says the Finance Ministry, for that matter, is saying that we are not the authors. That is why they did not even put it before the JPC, this entire note, which has been published through the right to information. Right. The ownership, actually, according to the Finance Ministry, is the Cabinet Secretariat and the Prime Minister's office, which had really given the inputs, and they are really the authors of this so-called controversial 2G spectrum note.
All right, Sunil, thanks very much for those updates there. Sunil Prabhu, following those political developments tonight, and those developments have come on a day when the opposition BJP has actually stepped up its attack on the UPA and Mr. Chidambaram in particular.
स्पेक्ट्रम आवंटन में जो भी नीति अपनाई गई, जो भी मूल्य निर्धारित किया गया, उसकी केवल जानकारी ही वित्त मंत्री को नहीं थी, बल्कि उनकी पूर्ण सहमति थी। यानी जो अपराध राजा ने किया है, हूबहू वही अपराध चिदंबरम ने भी किया है।
Suppose the officer in the note had said that this is a factual summary, according to me, Mr. Chidambaram is not guilty. That's the beautiful test. He is not guilty. Would the BJP accept his note? So how can a ministerial note possibly have any effect on guilt?
Well, the Prime Minister yesterday said that the UPA would complete its full term and that the opposition was trying to force an early election. But we're asking a different question tonight. Should there in fact be a mid-term poll? so that we can get out of this mess once and for all as the UPA faces one crisis after another. Joining us first tonight on Left, Right and Centre, we have the spokesperson of the Congress Party, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi. Dr. Singhvi, let me ask you first on today's developments. We now know that Mr. Pranab Mukherjee has written this letter to the Prime Minister and to Sonia Gandhi. He said that controversial finance ministry note had inputs from several other ministries. Does that make Mr. Chidambaram's case look worse or better?
Nidhi, this is speculation on speculation on speculation on stilts. And I'm not going to fall in the trap of answering that. You will appreciate, first of all, I do not have the same reliable sources which you have, which indicate to me that a letter has been sent or there is a letter. I am not privy to any contents if a letter exists. But most importantly, it could be a normal process that the finance minister has written a letter. It could be, I don't know. That certainly cannot lead to further speculation about what it means or does not mean for Mr. Chidambaram. I think we should stop speculating. I am sure if there is a letter, you will have it in terms of hard content by RTI or whatever shortly, and we can then talk about the contents. Let's not speculate before that on content which I don't know about and you are only speculating about.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.